Now, let us continue with the topic of non-Mendelian modes of inheritance. And the next heading to discuss is the mitochondrial inheritance. तो माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल इनहेरिटेंस एक ऐसा इनहेरिटेंस है जिनमें से माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया एक्सक्लूसिवली मदर से इनहेरिट होता है. सो माइटोकॉन्ड्रियल इनहेरिटेंस एग्जांपल ऑफ मैटरनल इनहेरिटेंस. मैटरनल इनहेरिटेंस. सो ये जितने माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया आपके सेल्स में प्रेजेंट होते हैं वो एक्सक्लूसिवली आर इनहेरिटेड फ्रॉम योर मदर एंड नन ऑफ माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया आर transferred from the sperm to the zygote. That's why only mitochondrial inheritance is due to maternal inheritance. So mitochondrial inheritance is example of an exclusive maternal inheritance in which all the mitochondria of a body are the precursors of your maternal ovum mitochondria. If you see the fusion between a normal ovum with his sperm containing altered mitochondrial DNA due to some mutation or other genetic cause, mating between the two, which will lead to the formation of a zygote. If mating occurs between the two and a zygote is formed, the zygote may be the male zygote or female zygote. Both will containing a normal mitochondrial DNA, and there is no carrier of the disease from father to the offspring because the mitochondrial DNA is exclusively inherited from the mother, and the status of the mitochondria depends upon the maternal mitochondrial status. As it is normal, the offspring will be containing normal mitochondrial DNA and the inheritance will be normal. What about if the mother contains or the ovum contains diseased mitochondria or some change in the mitochondrial DNA while the father contains normal mitochondrial DNA? So if the fusion occurs and a zygote is formed, it can be the male zygote or a female zygote. Both will containing diseased mitochondria or there may be some defect in the mitochondria of both the offspring. So this is an example of exclusive maternal inheritance. We will analyze the pedigree for that mitochondrial inheritance, but before that, let's discuss an example. So examples are very easier to remember. See, the mitochondrial inheritance starts with the letter M. So you have to take L alphabet before M, then the alphabet M itself, and the next alphabet, that is the N. So the mitochondrial inheritance example include the following. One is called the Leigh disease. Just check the spelling, it's Leigh, Leigh. Leigh disease. What happens in Leigh disease? There is the mental retardation as well as retardation in the movement that is affected in the children, especially of up to 1 year of age, and that symptoms manifested in the very first year itself, and the person or the infant die in the second or third year of age. Okay. Now second L stand for Leber's optic neuropathy. Optic neuropathy. It is name suggests it is something related to the inheritance of the blindness. Neuropathy. What about M? M stand for group of disease called MELAS that you might have studied in the biochemistry. So MELAS stand for mitochondrial encephalopathy. Okay, ME stands for mitochondrial encephalopathy. L stands for lactic acidosis. And what about S? If you have studied, you might be knowing S stands for stroke. Now N stands for NARP syndrome. NARP syndrome. NARP itself stands for neuropathy, ataxia, and retinitis pigmentosa. So the symptoms will be similar to the name itself. Neuropathy, ataxia, and retinitis pigmentosa is seen in the NARP syndrome. Now there is one more disease which is called the germinal mosaicism, which is related to the non-Mendelian modes of inheritance. But before we discuss that, let us discuss some other points of the mitochondrial inheritance. There is one specific point to remember in the case of mitochondrial inheritance, that some of the cells may show heteroplasmy. Heteroplasmy. So what do you understand by heteroplasmy? In heteroplasmy, one cell contains two types of mitochondria. That is, the one may be diseased and other may be normal. So the same cell is containing two types of mitochondria. That mitochondria will be of some diseased and while the other will be normal. Mitochondrial inheritance usually affect the kidney, and heart. Some other organs are affected, and it follows the law of population genetics. Follow the law of population genetics. When we started to discuss about the non-Mendelian modes of inheritance, I gave you 3 examples. First one was the epigenetics related disorder, that was the gene silencing. The next was the mitochondrial inheritance, and third one was the triple repeat mutation. Apart from these 3, we have one more thing that is called the germline mosaicism. Germline mosaicism. मोज़ाइकिज्म मतलब होता है एक ही बॉडी में 2 डिफरेंट टाइप के सेल्स प्रेजेंट हैं. कुछ सेल्स ऐसे हैं जिसमें नॉर्मल जेनेटिक कंपोजिशन है, वाइल कुछ में डिफेक्टिव जेनेटिक कंपोजिशन है, उसे हम बोलते हैं मोज़ाइकिज्म. Now let's see what happens in germline mosaicism. Normally, in an autosomal dominant disorder, either of the parents affected, means either the mother is affected or the father will be affected. But in some rare cases, none of the parents are affected in autosomal dominant disorder, like the osteogenesis imperfecta, or the other example may include tuberous sclerosis. In some of the cases of this disease, the parents are not affected while the autosomal dominant disorder is seen in the person, and the offspring may also present the same autosomal dominant disorder, but the parents are unaffected. The reason behind this is given by following way, that suppose the person is normal, then there might be some post-zygotic mutation. See, we are talking about germline mutation, means germ cells are affected. तो इसमें क्या होता है, पर्सन नॉर्मल रहता है, जाइगोट का फॉर्मेशन होगा, और जाइगोट के फॉर्मेशन के बाद जो जर्म सेल्स में कुछ मॉडिफिकेशन हो जाएगा, यानी कि म्यूटेशन हो जाएगा. पोस्ट जाइगोटिक मतलब जाइगोट फॉर्मेशन के बाद अगर सेक्स सेल्स में म्यूटेशन होता है तो नॉर्मल जाइगोट को इफेक्ट नहीं करेगा, बट ऑफस्प्रिंग से अफेक्ट हो सकते हैं. तो जाइगोट इज़ नॉट अफेक्टेड, बट द पोस्ट जाइगोटिक म्यूटेशन will lead to the mutation in the germ cells which will affect the progeny affected. Now the progeny is affected due to the post-zygotic mutation in the germ cell, which is inherited by the offspring and which may also pass into the future generation while the parent is unaffected. An example include osteogenesis imperfecta. Other example may be tuberous sclerosis. Now let's talk about the other disease that is called the triple repeat mutation. What happens in triple repeat mutation? Long nucleotide repeats are present in the DNA. So due to some alteration, long nucleotide repeats are present, and these repeats are usually of 2 base pairs or the 2 bases, that is the cytosine or guanine. So usually long nucleotide repeats are of cytosine or guanine, which can lead to a neurodegenerative disorder. This triple repeat mutation is dynamic in nature. What do you understand by the term dynamic? Means it can occur all of a sudden. It's not necessary that if the parents are affected then it will affect the offspring, but it can occur all of a sudden with no etiology or no causative agent found. Okay, it is a dynamic nature, means occur all of a sudden. See, suppose a person is affected with triple repeat mutation, initially the repeats are usually small in number, but over generation repeats accumulate or repeats increase in number, start increasing in number. Suppose earlier there were only 50 repeats, now in the next generation it is increased to 100, in the future generation it will be increased to 200. So the repeats are increasing per generation. This will lead to the disease to manifest much more earlier, as seen was in the very first case or the very first generation. So over generation what happens, repeats accumulate, or repeats, more accurate will be repeats amplify, and which will pass into the future generation. Okay, suppose this is a DNA helix. In DNA helix there may be some coding regions which code for specific proteins, while there may be some non-coding regions. If the repeats are in the non-coding regions, then it will not cause much problem until and unless their increasing number increase very much. Some of the diseases in the non-coding region include Fragile X syndrome, myotonic dystrophy, and the Friedreich ataxia. So 3 diseases if the disease in the or the triple repeat mutation is in the non-coding region, NCR, non-coding region. The examples include Fragile X syndrome, myotonic dystrophy, or Friedreich ataxia. So these are the common examples of triple repeat mutation when the mutation or the repeats are in the non-coding regions. Okay, the non-coding region. What happens if the repeats are in the coding regions? Then certain other diseases will be occur. If the disease in the coding region, the disease include Huntington's disease, or it may be Kennedy's disease, or it may be SCA, spinocerebellar ataxia. See, especially in the coding region, the repeats are found of CAG. So coding region starts with C. So CAG are the usual repeats for the coding region, while in the non-coding region, the repeats are different in different cases. Like in Fragile X syndrome, it is CGG. Then again write C and G. See, in the fragile G comes, you have to keep G in the middle. In myotonic dystrophy, T comes, then it will be CTG. Okay. And what about Friedreich ataxia? It is of GAA, ataxia A. Okay, so you have to keep this in mind. If you're worried about the names of all the diseases, don't worry. We'll discuss in detail about most of the diseases that you will encounter. So this was all about the non-Mendelian modes of inheritance. If you liked the video, please hit the like button and do subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.